Hi, writers. It's Megan Barnhard, and I'm really excited to talk to you today about procrastination because I am the queen of procrastination. I have been an amazing, excellent procrastinator for my entire life. I find all these fantastic ways to procrastinate. In fact, I'm going to tell you my favorite procrastination story in a minute. But I want to give you an overview of what I'm going to cover in this live, and I really invite you to chime in and share with me your procrastination struggles because I think one of the key ways to beat procrastination is to bring it into the light. I think even though we say, oh, I procrastinate and we might own it, we don't bring into the light the things we do that are part of procrastination. So, brief overview. I want to go through one, two, three, four, five pieces that I think are key to stopping procrastinating. At least there may be more, but these are five core things you need to tackle if you want to stop procrastinating. So here's my procrastination story. My senior year of college, I had to write, my big final paper, and a friend of mine gave me a set of juggling beanbags and the Klutz juggling book and said, you are going to procrastinate. He had already written his thesis the year before he'd graduated. So he knew what this was like. He knew you're not going to classes and it's all about writing your paper. So he goes, Megan, you're going to procrastinate. You may as well learn a new skill. And I did. I learned how to juggle. I also finished my paper, but I probably could have spent more time on the paper and less time juggling. But that's my favorite procrastination story. All right. So the first thing you need to beat procrastination is motivation. And I actually did a whole talk just about motivation and how important it is to find your why. So I'm not going to go deep on that. But in order to stop procrastinating, you have to get crystal clear on why you want to write instead. If you don't have a strong motivation, you're going to have a really hard time beating procrastination. So get super clear on your why. And again, check out that live. It'll be up on allwriterswelcome.com as a blog post soon. So we'll post it in the group here when it's up so that you can revisit that. All right. The second thing you need is awareness. And this is related to this idea of, I think we're not admitting to ourselves what we're doing that's procrastinating. A lot of us say, I procrastinate, I'm a procrastinator. It's even kind of a badge of honor for writers and for creative people in the same way writer's block is. And I think we get stuck just saying it and then not solving it. We don't move past it. So be really honest with yourself and be honest with other people. What are the things that you're doing that are keeping you from working on your writing? And I had a really interesting experience just yesterday. I had just a teeny tiny bit more work to do for a writing coaching client. I had a really great session. All I needed to do was send an email update saying, here's what we worked on today. Here are the Google Docs that you need to refer to, and here's what to do next. So simple, so short. And my brain didn't want to do it. And I immediately started moving to open a new tab, and I knew what I was going to do. I was going to open Facebook, and I was going to spend the next probably 20 minutes lost. And then at that point go, oh, I didn't finish my work and now I want to be eating dinner, and I was going to feel lousy. And so I said, what would it be like if I admitted I'm not doing work by standing up and walking away from my computer? And I did that. And I walked outside. And outside, my neighbor's cats were milling around on my front lawn. And I went over and said hello to them and pet them. And then I looked over by the gate and saw there was an Amazon box. And it was the new book, Barbara Stanny's book, Sacred Success, which I am so looking forward to reading. But I haven't started yet because I am trying to be good. I'm leaving it for the weekend. And I just cleared my brain. And in real time, I was outside for 5 minutes. And then I came back in and I finished my work. And the power of that was really being honest again about the fact that I wasn't working and not being tricked into this feeling that I'm working simply because I'm sitting at my computer. And I don't know if that happens to you, but that is a huge reason that I allow myself to get away with procrastination, because a little voice in my head is saying, I'm at the computer. And it might even get worse. Oh, I'm in All Writers Welcome. I'm chatting with people about writing. That's working. No, it's not. Talking about writing is not writing. It's wonderful. I love it. You guys are fantastic. You're asking so many interesting questions and posting about so many interesting experiences, but it's not getting my writing done. All right, so motivation, awareness, like really being honest that you are procrastinating. The next thing you need to stop procrastinating is knowledge. I was talking with a friend the other day and I said, gosh, sometimes I'm not sure what project to do next because I'm not sure it's the most effective use of time. And she asked me some questions about that and we went back and forth, and then I realized that was an excuse. Really what was keeping me from working on projects was I didn't know the next steps. And if you're not sure what to do in a project, of course you will procrastinate because you can't take the next step forward. So if you want to start procrastinating, you need knowledge. That might mean you need to sit down and plot your book more. That's getting knowledge. It might mean that you need to do some free writing. It might mean that you need to reach out for help and ask questions. How do I do this? Get advice from other people, or really do some soul searching. There are a lot of different ways you can get knowledge. Ask Google, but without knowledge, you're going to have a really difficult time moving past procrastination. All right, motivation, awareness, knowledge. By the way, points to anybody who comes up with a cool acronym for all of these things once they get through them. That would be fantastic. Feel free to, change around the names of things so that you actually get the number of vowels and consonants you need. Okay, but motivation, awareness, knowledge. The next thing is calendar, plan, deadlines. And those are all part of one, because it's really easy to let projects expand, and it's going to be fantastically easy to procrastinate on them if you haven't declared a deadline. So you can do this in any order. You might have a specific reason for wanting a hard and fast deadline. If so, then do that first, and then you work backwards and map out the dates on your calendar, and then you plan day by day. Here's the stopping point I need to get to. Here's what I have to do. If you don't have a hard deadline, you can work from the other way around and say, in my life with my 9-to-5 job and my family responsibilities and my community responsibilities, I am able to dedicate half an hour a day, Monday through Friday, to writing, and an hour on Saturday and an hour on Sunday, whatever it is. So you can work from either end, but set a deadline for yourself and then put that plan on your calendar, and notice how much ickier it feels to procrastinate. Because what you're going to see happen is the work start to pile up. And ask yourself, is that really how you want to treat your future self? Because if your self of today doesn't put in his or her share of work, then your future self is going to get swamped. And really be with that, feel that, and ask, is that how I want to treat my future self? And is that the way you would treat somebody else you were working on a project with? All right, the fifth piece, and you need to do it after you do the plan, calendar, deadline piece. The fifth piece is accountability. And in the plan, calendar, deadline, I was kind of hinting at the fact that you need to be accountable to yourself. You don't want your future self to get stuck and have to do a lot of extra work, but take it to the next level. Give yourself, it's the positive form of peer pressure, right? It's the accountability of telling somebody else what your plan is. And this is very effective. For tens of thousands of years, human beings evolved and lived in tribes. And our brains are hardwired not to want to disappoint the people in our tribe. It's okay if we disappoint the people we don't care about, right? But you want to do right by the people who are close to you. And so if you find somebody safe in your life, or several somebody's safe in your life, and say, hey, will you hold me accountable? My goal is to get to this point in my writing by this deadline, or to write this many hours per day or per week. you will have an emotional commitment to following through on that. And then when procrastination comes up, you're going to have an ickiness about not working on your writing that will be related to you don't want to punish your future self. It will be related to you don't want to disappoint the friends or the people you've told you're going to do something. And that's good, because the more you build up an ickiness about procrastination, the harder it will be to do it, right? You're never going to wake up in the morning and feel like, well, let me take that back. I find it hard to imagine waking up in the morning and not having a temptation to procrastinate. Maybe that will happen. That would be so cool. I would love for that to happen. I want that to happen. Actually, I'm going to start believing in that. But even if you feel the temptation to procrastinate, to put off the work, it will not seem as appealing once you have that outside accountability. Okay, so once again, my challenge to you guys is come up with a fantastic acronym that incorporates motivation, awareness, knowledge. I can't put my fourth finger up. I have to do my pinky first. Plan, calendar, deadlines, and then accountability. So we need 2 A's, an M, a K, and a P. Seems like we got enough vowels. There could be something in there. And there's no magic bullet, is what all those letters really mean. There is no one thing you can do, right? Maybe Tim Ferriss can figure it out for us if there is, but to my knowledge, there's no one thing you can do that will erase procrastination. But if you have motivation, a clear motivation, you know why you want to write. If you have awareness and you're really honest with yourself about when you are off task, if you have the knowledge you need to move forward and take the next steps, if you plan, calendar, and have deadlines, and then if you share those deadlines, you'll be chipping away at procrastination piece by piece. All right, so an action step for you, my challenge to you, in addition to coming up with an acronym, is to start building an awareness. When you find yourself not working on writing, what are you doing instead? And start to get really brutally honest with yourself about how I'm not working on writing, and really examine the actions you're taking instead. And as much as you can, remind yourself, in this moment, I'm not writing. I don't want you to punish yourself. I don't want you to say I'm a terrible person because I'm not writing, but I want you to be honest. If I'm talking with other people about writing, I'm not writing. If I am over researching, I am not writing. If I'm playing with my neighbor's cute kitties, I am also not writing. But start to build that awareness, because the first step of building a new habit, oh my gosh, I'm reading the best book right now. Okay, but let me finish that thought. The first step of building a new habit is becoming aware of the current habit. All right. The fantastic book I'm reading right now is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. This book will change your life. I highly recommend grabbing it. And then when you do procrastinate, at least you will be doing something useful. You can use the learning to juggle trick. Keep this by your desk instead of getting on Pinterest or doing whatever it is that you tend to procrastinate on. Read a section of this book. It is absolutely mind-blowingly brilliant. All right, that is it for now. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day, and please leave me your comments about procrastination and whether this was helpful. I'd love to know if you can use these 5 steps. All right, ta-ta for now, writers.